Welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast.
Hey.
Hey.
Welcome back to the Fifth Trooper. That's Evan.
Hey.
I'm Jay.
Hey.
And this is Squeaky Chair.
Ugh. Ugh. Stop. Dude, stop.
We're back at it again. So, Evan, here we are.
Did you put the speeder on a CIS base?
It was the only one I had. I couldn't find the speeder base. So I just did
I'm not sad, I'm just disappointed.
Oh, well, hey, things happen when you're Jay Shalansky trying to put together a last-minute Legion list.
I think I've seen a lot of bases just get mixed. I meant to say it before, but this is the first time I was just looking down. We're looking at the remnants of the King of the Hill game we had, and there's a bunch of speeder bikes coming off the board, and then I see there's like one that looks exactly like Endor, and I'm like, awesome. And then some aren't painted, which is fine, right? But then I see like the blue base, and I'm like, well, that's not acceptable.
My view on that is they're all gonna get painted.
Yeah.
So I just don't care. So hey, everybody, thanks for listening and coming back. Last time, 2 weeks ago, we talked to you. We had Mike from Firelock Games on.
Yep.
And we talked about Blood and Plunder, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. Also, we're just kind of, I think today we're basically just going to shoot the breeze here and maybe talk a little bit about what's going on at the Fifth Trooper Network. If you guys, aren't paying attention to that, we can clue you in on that. We're going to talk a little bit about games, maybe some games we're playing recently that we really like. And then we'll talk a little bit about Blood and Plunder because they got their Kickstarter, which is live, and we talked to Mike about that 2 weeks ago.
You can buy Blood and Plunder at Walmart on their website.
Oh yeah, so I think
is that a little wild to you? I don't know. That's just a little wild to me.
What they're doing is they started doing that marketplace thing. It's like Amazon. Okay. So I think technically, we could have a Fifth Trooper store on Walmart.com if we wanted.
Oh, that's just.
Yeah,
that's wild. Not to break your flow. I was looking up for the Kickstarter to read some updates, and I saw Blood and Plunder, right? Like Google gives you like where you can buy it, and then it just said Spanish nationality, Walmart. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's the same as Amazon. It's just like a marketplace. Anybody can sell anything now. Because they're trying to compete directly with Amazon.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I've gotten a few things from Walmart.com. Like I think we got a Switch from one of the kids on there, but it didn't come from Walmart. It came from some other company, but it was on their website. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe next week you guys will see Fifth Trooper mats up on Walmart.com. Speaking of Fifth Trooper mats, if you haven't seen, we're doing our pre-orders for the restock, some mats that we've been out of stock for. And then also, we designed a brand new mat that is the Dark Temple mat. And that is, if you look at the website, we designed it in a way that it's ready for any board size, really. So the 3x3 for skirmish, 3x6, the 44x60 for the new 40K, and 6x4 for the new 40K. And you say, Jay, aren't all mats ready for that? Yes, they are. But ours has hidden markers, or the way the pattern works is that it outlines those areas. So if you're playing skirmish, you'll know that you have to stay in this particular area. If you're playing the 44x60 for the new 40K area, you'll know to stay in this certain area. Yeah. And same with 6x3. So
it makes it so you're not trying to buy one mat and then just deal with it, right? So that's the big thing is it's a real pain to tape up your 4x6 for the new 40K stuff, and it's a even bigger pain maybe to have a 60x44 and have to like get weird measurements now because you want to play Legion on it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm just, our mission at the Fifth Trooper is how do we make gaming accessible to you, whether it's Legion or any other game that you're playing, and that's through, whether it's through our podcast or our blog or our web store where we sell a bunch of games, or, in this case, it's how do we design a mat that makes all games accessible so that you can purchase our mat and you're just ready to go with any game that you play from now to the future.
I mean, because it's so dark, you can do X-Wing on it. Like you just put the asteroids down. I mean, it's a big map for X-Wing, but hey, you only have to buy one, and if you're going to play in a big table anyway, like, why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do have X-Wing mats now, though, too. So
Yeah,
if
also
you didn't
that.
know that, they're up on the store.
But yeah, and if this design layout does well, we'll make some others with the hidden deployment line too. So if this Dark Temple one isn't your jam, like just
Send us a note of
Yeah.
something you'd like to see, because I definitely have a couple of other designs that I'm working on right now, and so it's not the only one that's going to be like this.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of times we don't know what people want, so we all get together and like, well, what'd be cool? I want a beach mat, right? And so we do a
Yeah.
beach mat, and then we do we do this and that, but other times like some outside opinions don't hurt.
Yeah, we try to guess, based on, I mean, because we're gamers, right? And we're playing all the time, so we know what we like. So we just assume that you're probably similar.
You'll
so
want a grass mat,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
right.
it's
So we try to design based on that, and we'll see. So send us notes if you have a mat idea you'd like us to see us produce next. We absolutely can do that.
oh sure.
So yeah, so we got the new mats. Also, just since we're on the store, we got new stock up on the store. Highly recommend checking it out. We got a ton of Army Painter stuff now. We're trying to carry some more board games like Scythe and Forgotten Waters.
Pretty much, if we've played it and we like it,
Yeah, if
that's
we've
what
talked
we'll
about
sell.
it, we put it up on the website.
So if we have a order form that if you're looking for something, you can send it to us.
Yeah, if you go up to the web store, bottom on the left-hand column, there's like the search function, and then the categories at the bottom. It's the search forms at the bottom, or the special order forms at the bottom. So you could just click that, it'll take you to a page, and you just fill out what you'd like to see us get, and whether that's something you want us to carry in the store or something just for you that you want us to get. We definitely will take special orders.
Yeah. So the nice thing about our store is anything we sell, we like.
Yeah.
Right. We're not just kind of carrying a menagerie and being like, I haven't played that. I don't know about that. Right.
Yep.
So that's
But yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it, right? Is something we're passionate about and that we know is quality. So we're trying to sell that and stock that so that you get it from a place that you could trust and rely on, and then maybe we'll talk about it too at some point.
yeah, I've been playing a lot of Scythe.
Yeah, how's that been going?
Scythe is one of those games that's been out like 3 years. I think 2017 was the launch. And I'd always seen it, and I'm like balked at the price point because I bought it straight just from our local at the time. And I'm like, well, it'll be fun. It does like 5 players, and we had a 5-player game night coming up. And
Yeah.
I wanted to buy the Fallout, like not cooperative, but the competitive game, but I only did 4 players. We had 5, and I'm like, that sucks. So I got it, and I'm like, well, I've heard some good stuff. And then we'd already talked about it before, but I like it so much at this point that I played it. It's on Steam and TTS. I like the Steam version better just because it all just does everything. There's not any triggers you have to like forget.
Yeah.
Like it all like the TTS version is like $8 or something, so it's pretty reasonable. But the actual Steam version is only like 20.
So yeah, because TTS versions of games are generally just the board game in a digital version.
Yeah, they're like
right?
they have some nice Legion's got the auto cleanup token button. Like they can program some good stuff in there, and it has some of that, but it still expects you to know a lot of the rules. And you like for that. But the nice thing about the actual like the official release is that it knows the rules, right? So you can make mistakes or something, but the game won't like let you break a rule. It's like no, you can't
that's
do that.
right, because it's a game. It's the Steam game is designed to be a game on its own,
Yeah.
where TTS is more of an add-on to something else.
Yeah, and it's I've actually learned like we were doing some stuff wrong a couple
okay.
times, and like actually playing it like so for example, the enlist, when you take that action that lets you get stuff when other people do stuff, it's actually only the bottom thing you get, and you get it if you do it yourself too.
Oh, okay.
So we had shorted ourselves originally. When we first originally played, anytime anybody did anything, we're like, yeah, take it. Then we like, oh, it's only the guy next to you. So we would say if they did the top action, even we're like, yeah, this is great. Why would you do anything but enlist, right? And so the games that like taught us a lot, and plus I get to play with my buddy who lives about 4 hours away. I got him into it. Our buddy James, we just like come on, because you can play a game in like half an hour on that if you're both just like kind of paying like. Because there's computer turns, and the other guy's turn takes a minute, so like I'll be like painting a model or something, and he'll take his turn, then goes to me, and then I'll
I like
do that. So that's kind of cool. But no, yeah, Scythe is our new edition.
Gaslands. We got Gaslands.
Oh yeah, the
in,
book. Actually, that's
yeah.
we should. Yeah, we got to play that. On
We gotta
stream.
get a game of Gaslands.
I
for
bought
sure.
a bunch of cars off Amazon.
Yeah.
And I bought the Black on Black, the Mad Max's.
So I don't know if I think we've maybe talked about it before, but just give us a real quick.
Yeah. So
what
Gaslands is so a rough overview look is it's kind of like X-Wing, where you have templates that how you move, and you move with the templates with the toy cars. So you can play it with a couple different sizes, but the easiest way to play is to get into like they call it Hot Wheels scale, or that's what we always call it. There's like a 32 and something else. So if you're gonna buy templates online, there's a smaller scale and then a bigger scale. Just I don't know the names for them, but just make sure you buy the bigger one because that gives you the easiest access to like Hot Wheels. Like everyone's got a store that sells Hot Wheels for $1, right? So you buy like 4 or 5 cars, and then in the book, it has all the factions, has all the rules, and even has all the templates in the back, so you can just kind of cut and print however you want. So you make a little list. So there's like the enforcers, the scum punks, the whatever, and then so each have like a faction ability, and then you can do just like a death match or like a Twisted Metal style where everyone gets a card, you just kind of drive around and throw dice, or there's like a race, so you do death race, so you set up gates, and so you have to race through whoever gets there first wins kind of thing. The only complaints I have about it is you got to go to Etsy to buy templates and dice. Because the dice aren't D6s, they're like specifically ones is like shift and skid and hazard, and like they're pretty reasonable on Etsy. I think I got a set of red and blue for like $12. Like they're not hard to get, but I wish it just used like a D6 system, so you could have bought the book, and then kind of just went with it, right? But honestly, the buy-in is the book, really, and any Hot Wheels cars you want. So like one of our buddies, Spencer's like, I'm just buying Batman cars. Like my list is just going to be all the different versions of the Batmobile, and I bought Amazon had like it was like 12 cars for $12 kind of thing, and so there's like a plane in there too, so I was going to use that as like wreckage. Yeah. And the problem is I was going to paint them all these crazy stuff, but they all match colors, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just be the Hot Wheels like team. But it's cool because it's just like you can use like Legion terrain. Really, it doesn't matter. Like it's train rules. There's like skidding and sliding, doing cool tricks. Like it's. Like Osprey Games, they do that, and they do Frostgrave. They just launched Frostgrave Season 2 or 2nd edition. Their philosophy overall for a lot of their games is just buy our book. Like all the with the Frostgraves, just use whatever miniatures you own. I don't care. With this, it's like use whatever Hot Wheels you want, whatever looks cool. There's actually a cool Gaslands Facebook group that I recommend joining to see what people have been working on. And people make like war rigs, so like it's like Mad Max Fury Road. So they have like the tractor trailer with a giant war rig in the back, and there's like missions to fight that, and it's really cool. Like it's one of those games you don't hear about a whole lot, but then if you met someone says they play it, they really like it. Yeah. Even it was on the back episode of a South Park once, and Stan's room we saw Gasland's book. So like it's weirdly like popular, just not mainstream. Yeah,
I've noticed that so South Park has had a lot of like they had dewbacks at one point from Star Wars Legion during the debacle. Like oh my god, like there's so many
kind of a
funny
low-key point
little things. But yeah. So we got tons of stuff at the store if you want to check it out. I think this weekend we're going to be running some deals for Columbus Day or whatever.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah,
Columbus Day.
Yeah, Monday. And so then also, if you're a Patreon member, we're doing some cool stuff this quarter for our reward systems. We've got, if you're watching the video, we designed these little boxes, cargo boxes. 5th Trooper cargo boxes that are MDF terrain. We've also got some, there are these little like security stations, MDF terrain, and then we also are doing our own barricades. So this isn't Legion specific, it's any tabletop miniature game. So if you're a supporter, you'll be getting some variation of those depending on what level you're at.
The boxes are actually really good for, speaking of Gaslands. There's a nice little piece of line of sight blocking terrain. They look like a crate. Yeah, I mean, it's got little pin pads on the side, but if you didn't want it to be futuristic, you just paint over it. Yeah, right. Like it doesn't like.
And then and then one of the other things, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff in there this quarter. one of the special things that we're doing too is our buddy. He's a listener and friends with Evan. He's not my friend. I don't actually care for him. His name's Nick or Grammar Police on Discord. I dislike him a great deal. But Evan
Immensely.
really likes him. But he came up with a cool idea, an exhaust token for Legion cards that exhaust. So I actually have a couple designs for that. I was going to show Evan after the cast, and so we'll have those. And
Yeah, so let's rap about that a little bit.
Okay.
So how I was actually talking to Cole Kai about it. He's like, yeah, that sounds cool. So his thought was a token that how they do force tokens in X-Wing was one side that's like bright colored and like, you know, got an X or something on it, and you flip it and it goes dark to like show that. I was thinking one that almost stands up and you could like lay it down.
Yeah.
To show, because it's the problem with tap cards is there's a lot of them now. Offensive push, the grappling line, stims, special guns tap now, right? And so the issue is like you're playing a game. Let's say you've even been playing. It's like your third game of the day at a tournament, if those ever happen again. And you're like looking across the board and like maybe. I play with like all my stuff in those sleeves, so it's like Ultra Pro sleeves. But then I got to take them out and they tap like thing. Maybe a guy forgot to tap them, or maybe they did, but they've got a lot of cards out and it's hard to see. Like there's an innate problem where you can't just look at the board and recognize what's been tapped or not. And it's kind of a pain to be like, did he use that? You're asking like every turn because you don't remember if they recovered or not. And like they'll say what they do, so I'm not saying the other guy's not telling the information, but like it'd be nice just to look across the board and just get immediate information about their cards. And so what I do when I play is I take the tap card and I put it out by the unit. Yeah. I'm like, that's their tap card.
Yeah, so I went through... I'm still like in the middle, but like I went through varying ideas. But really what I wanted to do was just make it simple. And so my thought is you just... When it's exhausted or tapped in whatever other game, right? You just put the token on top of it.
Okay.
Leave it off if it's not.
Yeah, like
put it on if it is.
Token that's done. What do we have to? What clever word could we put on it?
So I'll show you. But one of the ideas I had was it's like a dream bubble, and it just says Z's in it.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. One of them was like "do it," and the other one was "don't." But no, that's pretty good. Yeah, because we were just kind of shooting the breeze because there's that leak today about some units.
Yeah.
On all the Facebooks, whether or not it's confirmed or
for
not.
Legion.
For Legion. And so we're going back and forth, and the conversation kind of led to like, units on the field, and then what abilities they could have. Then it like came to like, well, man, with ISF, each one has offensive push for me, and it's kind of like a pain for the guy to like, which one has it, which one didn't use it, which one recovered, so I can just put a token down. And with all the tokens they love, I'm really surprised they didn't make like a token for that, right? Like,
well, they thought the card would do it, right? But as the game grows and as the board gets more complicated, that stuff doesn't become as easy, So, but yeah, so we're gonna do that token. I got a couple other token ideas. So this Patreon is gonna be pretty cool, and the neat thing is we do is for the quarterly rewards, we don't require a time limit. So if you just sign up today, as long as you sign up before I ship it out, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So I don't look at, how long's this guy been a member?
Or
girl been a member. I just go, they're at this level. They get
Patreon
this.
tells us.
Yeah. Yeah. And so so that I'm pretty excited about that. We're trying to, we really support all of you who have been backing us. Did I say we really support? We are really excited about all of you that are backing us and supporting us on Patreon. And so I'm really trying to, create that value for you
something
guys.
Cool, man. Like it's I would say, so the Outriders had a cool one, and I'm going to bring them up because I didn't realize they had.
How dare you?
The old card. Do you remember I used to keep calling Pathfinders Outriders? Mm-hmm. That'd make you so mad. I had didn't realize I had my credit card breached at one point, and then I transferred all the stuff over, and I forgot Patreon because it's not like I support people, but it's not like food or internet or anything, right? So it's not one of those things I'm thinking about. And then they sent me, they made those dice, those chance dice, right?
Chance dice, yep.
And so they said, hey, if you sign for a $10 one, we'll say your name on the podcast. And so I re-signed up, and I want you to say my name on your podcast. Take my $10 and say my name. I'll simp for Outriders.
But yeah, so value through the rewards, but also, Evan, if you don't know, we've talked about it a couple times, but I'll just for new, if you're new, but Evan and I do another podcast called The Fifth Trooper After Dark, which is a Legion only podcast, exclusive podcast, and we do that on Patreon. And so, we appreciate the support. It helps us get the equipment and keep. We just had to pay our bill for our podcast suite that we use, and that was pretty intense.
That was intense.
So, so you guys supporting us just helps us pay for all that stuff, and in return, I hope that we're giving you guys value. Whether it's through our content or through the quarterly rewards that we have.
So and speaking of supporting Blood and Plunder. He was on a couple weeks ago,
Mike. Yep.
And October 7th, and today is the 8th, so it's been out for a day, I think, or was it 6th? Either way, 6th. It's out now.
Kickstarter went live on the 6th. Yep. And
you should take a look. So their kits. So Blood and Plunder is a game that we keep meaning to want to play. It's just we are literally like with work and then all this other stuff. Even playing like Legion once a week is a real like
stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes we're like,
we'll get there though.
Yeah. So we have actually 2 painted armies even. We're almost there, but not now with the new one coming out. It's like, well, I want the new boats. But so their jump in price is $119, and you get 2 armies, 2 captains, Blackbeard and then Lieutenant Robert Menard.
Yep, he's the one that killed Blackbeard. 2
full boats.
Yep.
2 activation decks, which is how you like pretty much the 52 cards. All the unit cards, a 3x3 C-mat, a wooden turning gauge looks like.
I'm pretty sure he said that C-mat was double-sided too.
Yeah, it is. It's also a land mat. 2-sided punchboard terrain, like sea terrain, like shoals. Dice, measuring stick, tokens. It's actually the boats are big. Mm-hmm. Like I know saying 2 boats doesn't seem like X-wing comes with 2 TIE fighters.
No, they're like
big boats.
They're big, yeah.
They're like cut the arms off the top of that a little bit, and they're like the width.
For those of you watching
for like watching the ATST hauler here, they're like that long, and they're some of the add-ons you can get are like just different armies and more copies of it depending on what you want. Maybe for some friends going on a bunch of stuff, but. So to speak for the Oak and Iron starter, their philosophy was always like, you buy this, and if you're not sure, you buy the Oak and Iron starter, and that's pretty much everything besides like the ships to the line. But you could go to an event, let's say it's Oak and Iron Day, maybe that ever happens at our store, right? And you go with your box, and you could play a full game and actually have a lot of options, right? And actually have choices, and like not just be like, well. Mm-hmm. Like, that sucks when you're playing a war game and you're just starting like Legion. You're like, well, this is just everything I own. It's not what I want to play. It's just I had to hit 800 points. So,
right.
Guys got like extra dude gun you don't like, all the upgrades, a grenade you'll never use.
That happened. Yeah, I mean that core set buy, right? Like I know that's value. Like we all recognize for Legion that the core set is value.
But still.
But the difference is that it's just not ready competitively.
Yeah. Even just like even if you buy a few of them, you're still like lacking, right? Like you got to get more. So what looks nice about this Blood and Plunder, I'll be getting one just because I want. Mm-hmm. That's a great way to jump in. It's a cool pirate game that's pretty chill, and their learn to play videos like I brought up last time were also pretty chill. Like just like get close enough. Like that's kind of a lot of it's just like you can be super precise, but if you're just playing with your buds. I think they said there were no rules lawyers on the sea. So back in the golden age of piracy. So
and I think as games get more complicated and as guys like us have different desires when it comes to gaming, the entry level the bar gets higher and higher and higher, and it becomes harder for other players, like newer players, to get into something because of complexity, right? Like 40K is a hard game to just like
jump
one day
into,
start playing, right?
Yeah.
And so I like that they have rules. They have a competitive OP system.
Yep.
Whenever we get to do that again. But they also say, hey, you're new. Like, yeah, that box looks like a rock. You'll be fine. You can
Yeah. Close enough, right?
yeah, right.
You don't even need an activation deck from them. Technically, you can just use a 52 card like deck. Like they just did some really cool stuff. So, if you're on the edge about the game, that's a great way to jump in. Like
Yeah.
splitting it with somebody is like that's even what like $60 a person to get
Yeah,
a
I
full
think it's
set of
good, and
dudes,
they're a real
cards
good.
and everything.
The other thing I value lately too is, and I mean,
Oh, we're getting real.
yeah, I don't wanna,
low
like-
voice. You don't want anyone else to hear.
I don't want anybody else to hear me. It's one of the things that frustrates me is when I feel like a company doesn't care about me as a consumer.
Sure.
And I don't mean like how am I doing or if I'm sick
Yeah.
or something, but I mean like they don't care about my dollars.
Yeah.
And as much as we love FFG and Legion, they have that tendency to not care about the dollars that we're spending on their game, and the deliveries. When are these going to be?
That return system they put in place?
The whole
Jeez.
stocking system, and
Yeah.
maybe it's not FFG, maybe it's Asmodee, but they just don't seem to care about the consumer. They're just like, it's Star Wars, you're going to buy it anyways, nerd. And so with the Firelock guys, like, I mean, you guys heard Mike, he's been all over talking about the games, but like just talking to him as a person, he's one of you. Like he's probably listening right now, and so he's one of you guys, and he's one of us, and he just wants to put out a good game that's accessible, that's inexpensive to get into. And like he was talking on the interview we did with him, it's just like, yeah, we want to make it easy for you to just buy a box and like go. And I appreciate companies that do that more, that know that my dollars are valuable to me, and that know that they need to give a greater value and a greater,
Well,
they
sure.
need to care about the fact that I chose to spend my money with them.
Well, it's funny you say that. So, like, when you talk to like the designers in a lot of these companies, like Alex and Luke or anybody, like they're awesome,
Yeah.
right? And I don't ever think
No.
it's a them or even like some of the PR guys like Matt Holland. I don't think they're ever trying to do that to us. But you get hit by that corporation part
Yeah.
of it, right? Where it hits like Asmodee. Then there's that guy in Asmodee who said like Mandalorian was coming to Legion and all this stuff, and we haven't heard
Jack
thing about it, right? Like, it's like, cool, man, but don't say that and then not announce anything. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you just hit this like faceless corporate.
it's tough.
Like the individual pieces are awesome. Like meeting some of those, like meeting any of those guys at shows are always great, and they love your feedback and they
Yep.
like talking to you.
Yep.
But when it hits that like corporate, like
machine,
it
yeah.
just falls apart. So that's what's cool about Firelock is like he cares, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He gets it. Like he's right. Like when we have these other people on the show, they're like, yeah, we're a luxury product. If like the economy collapses, we're the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Like you don't need tiny spaceman. You need like food, right? Like in refrigerators and stuff,
They
right?
clearly never met me.
Yeah, but I mean, like they a lot of these companies are like, yeah, we need to earn your dollar
Yes.
because you don't need this, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I think that a lot of people, I don't think this is exclusive to board games. I think
No, this is generally.
as your company grows, right, if you don't put a focus on customer service and customer satisfaction, as the company grows, that gets diminished just by the machine growing, right? I don't think it's anybody's like
No, it just happens.
specifically out there going, F our customers. It's more
Email gets lost somewhere.
Yeah, it's
right?
just like there's a machine and the machine is moving forward. And if there isn't a process or like a system for the customers to be heard, then you're not going to be heard. And that's any business. That's not board games.
Yeah.
I think what happens is because this is luxury, we as a consumer feel like our money speaks louder because it's a luxury item versus something that we need, like Evan was saying, right?
Yeah.
Like where maybe we accept that our dollars don't speak as much when it comes to refrigerators because there's a bazillion refrigerators and they don't care. You need
Yeah,
a
yeah.
refrigerator. Like
What are you
that's,
gonna do?
that's a requirement of life
Yeah.
nowadays, right? Or unless you're a homesteader, you wouldn't be listening to this. But
Yeah.
maybe
You've got other issues.
got like an ice box.
like the
buried in
bobcats are getting
ground or
close to the
something.
chickens.
Yeah. But so I'm just like, I think we as consumers have an expectation that companies are going to be more passionate and empathetic because it is a luxury item and it's a passionate and thing, right? Like you buy games because you love them and you're passionate about them. You don't buy them because you just have to have Scythe or whatever.
Yeah, right. Like, no, that's funny you say that because so this even goes to like, so I was with my father, and do you remember when Ford had that recall?
You have a father?
I do have a father. Ford had that recall on door handles. Do you remember? Do you ever hear about that?
Yes.
So this actually turned to really suck because a little bit more into that. So we opened his back door of his truck and heard sloshing, and we're like, what the? We're like, what? That's not right. And so he's like, yeah, there's a ton of water in there. I don't know what's going on. And so there's like a little rubber thing at the bottom. You pull it in water, it shoots out. So it'd been filling it full of water. And what happened was to fix the door. What happened with Ford, the doors weren't like closing and locking. So one night when he was driving home, he had to hold his door closed because it would just otherwise it would just go open. So they just jammed it full of grease, and the grease didn't stop the water. So the water would go into the handle, which was still a problem, and fill the doors up with water. So this has been in the wintertime. It would have froze, and that would have been real bad, right? So we go to the dealership. I'm with him because I'm like go do stuff, right? So I'm going there, and he pulls in, and like he goes to the customer service rep, and he's like, he's like, yeah, I'm here about the recall. He's like, is this about the whatever the truck was model? He goes, yeah. He's like, we can't help you. You have to go to Ford. And he's like, I'm at a Ford dealer, and they go, nope, you have to go right to Ford. We're not going to do this anymore. Like they started like kind of teeing off about us about like how's the big pain? It doesn't really work, and that. And I'm like, whoa. Imagine, so the easiest way to imagine this is like you buy a TV from Best Buy, right? And you walk in, and the Samsung's like, bring this back to the store and get a new TV because this might burn your house down. And so you do, and they go, nah, you got to go to Samsung. But Samsung says you got to go to them, and no one wants to help you. Like, how many times has that happened to you, right? Yep. And so even with larger purchases these days, it's like, I mean, a truck is like starts at like 40, right? Like that's with nothing. So it even at higher levels, it just doesn't feel like a lot of companies like care, right? Like, because that's a
and I think, and that's what I was kind of talking about before. I don't think it's a care issue. I just think so. In that particular scenario, right? What was happening was the local place wasn't either getting
support or something,
supported, or wasn't getting the money, or was telling the corporation, like, hey, this isn't the fix. Like, we need to come up with something. The corporation's like, well, that's what our engineers came up with. Yeah. And it just becomes this cycle, right? It's interesting. Yeah, I really try.
Another quick story about that. During that time, there were just trucks on the side. And I was getting getting my car repaired. And I go, what are those? Like, yeah, customers are refusing to pay their truck, like their payments, until they fix it, and they just leave them on the lot. They're like, yeah, I don't want this anymore because it's broken. And you because there's so many payments in, you can't return it, right? And so it's like, I'm not paying for this. I'm leaving it here until you fix it. And I'm like, oh my god! Like, I was surprised, like they were still in business after all that. I'm like, yo, that's a lot of bad press just to be like, yeah, that's stuff people have actively abandoned on our on our lot because we can fix the product. Like yowza. But no, I get what you're saying. It's like that. There's this disconnect. From a lot of that, but also at the end, unfortunately, it's like the customer's one who hurts, right?
Always, yeah. I mean, that's just how it works, right? And unless you like, there's companies out there like what is it, Zappos, the shoe company. I'm pretty sure they're owned by Amazon now, but they had this hiring process for customer service agents that was basically like you're on a I think it was like a 2 week or like I think it was 2 weeks, right? You're on 30-day notice, but 2 weeks in, they come to you, they would come over, they'd say, Evan, you can stay and keep the job, or I'll give you 4 weeks of pay for you to just take off right now.
Oh, wow.
Like, you can just leave.
Yeah.
4 weeks. We'll give you 4 weeks. The next 4 weeks are on us. You're paid. And it was this thing that they were finding that if someone took that, it could have been 2 weeks. I don't.
It was a
significant
buyout.
dollar.
Yeah, it was a buyout.
Right, of these new employees, and basically what they found and determined was that if they kept a bad employee, someone who would take that deal, if they never made that deal and kept them, they would lose more money long term because of negative customer service than they would if they just paid them off to leave
Yeah,
at the beginning. And so that was a focus on making sure that the customer comes first, right? And that the customer is happy with what they've spent their money on.
I actually have a story about Zappos customer support.
All right.
We were at
Look at that. I didn't even know. Guys,
I've been loading.
As
soon as you said Zappos, I just put that shell in the gun. I'm like,
serendipitous.
Boom.
I had no idea.
So I went through a lot of, I don't want to say brainwashing camps for Best Buy, but they would send us out to these hotels, like 5-star hotels for business meetings, right? And they'd be like, all right, so back when Best Buy was going to take out GameStop, and GameStop took out themselves, maybe. Actually, I just saw a new article today that Microsoft is doing a multi-part plan with them to try to like maybe do something. Anyway, I didn't read too much other than like Microsoft's going to work with them, but so they wanted to get rid of GameStop. They wanted to be the place to go buy video games, and I was part of the initiative to launch it. Unfortunately, it lasted like better part of a year. Then they canceled it when they didn't see immediate big corporate whatever. But so I went to these places, and they're like, customer service is so important to us that they put a couple companies up there, and one was Zappos, and they're like, you can call Zappos to order a pizza, and they will find a place and order for you. And I went, no, like that's insane. And so after the breakout, my boss is like, who wants pizza? Like my guys I was with, and we're like, yeah, we're hungry. So he opened the thing and he called Zappos, and he's like, hi, I'm in I think we're in Arizona, and I need 2 things. I need a pizza ordered from X, Y, and Z, and I need to know what bar is doing deals tonight. And the guy goes, okay. And so he's like, all right, what kind of pizza do you want? So we ordered it, and he's like, there's a bar about 20 minutes away that's doing 25-cent Coronas. And we're like, he's like, thank you. And he's like, thanks for calling. Click. And I'm like, what just happened? Right. That's the level that they had. Yeah. And I'm assuming he probably bought shoes. Like it wasn't just a cold like call, but like that they're just like, yeah, okay, whatever you want, man. Like that just blew my mind at the time.
Yeah, because I mean that's an outlier of a story, right? Like the likelihood of someone actually doing that is 1 in 1,000.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's okay. I'll take that all day long and have my customer rep do that, right?
Yeah, because it's an address where you are.
Yeah.
And then you can even go on Google now and say pizza.
Yeah, it was what, 15, 20 minutes of his time?
Yeah.
Of the 10 minutes maybe of the rep's time.
Yeah.
So I'll take that all day long for you then to go, I love Zappos. Here's a fun story about them, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's customer service.
The teeth breathing.
What else do we got going on?
We've got
Tuesday nights. We got our, if you haven't been watching,
yeah,
every Tuesday night, we've been streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the last 2 months, Evan and I got back to Legion streaming on Tuesday nights, and then Evan came up with an idea. We're calling it King of the Hill, and basically what it is we play every week. Either myself and Evan or our buddy Jeremy stop by for the last couple games, and whoever list wins goes on to the next week. So far, no one's made it
more than one. Yeah,
well, 2 more than right. No one's won more than once so far.
Yeah. No one's like it's a problem in like when UFC belts change too much.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, like we need a list to like
But
maintain.
I think part of it is because we've been picking lists that are fun to play, not like sweaty.
Yeah, nothing's been real sweaty, to be
But
fair.
I mean, I think I got, thanks to your friend, not my friend, his friend, Grammar Police, Nick, he sent us a list. So what we did was we asked our Patreon supporters who listen to the Fifth Trooper After Dark to submit lists to us, and we'd play their list. So I got a triple bikes Veers list, and I don't know, I think it's got legs. I think I might be able to take it the distance.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do we have a rule? Like, let's say, how many games do I have to win before we force retire the list?
Oh, I don't think we do at all.
I just keep it going?
I think you just keep. I think that's the longevity of it, and maybe we need to make up some rules. Like if you hit so many, because you can buy those foam belts, like an actual wrestling belt. I think it'd be cool to have because we've got the camera equipment.
Yeah,
we have you walk in through the door with a belt, and you just
So funny story. Dash from the Scoundrels. I don't mind telling everybody this. He wants to do wrestling style interviews, like record whoever the 2 people are, and he'll interview us.
Oh, do do shoots?
Yeah, be like, I'm coming at you hard, Evan.
Yeah.
You and Palpatine are
do a
going
shoot,
down this week, and
Man, I love man, I love wrestling. AEW is so good right now. Anyway, but yeah, that's doing a hot shoot. Like those are great. That'd be fun. Like I think that's so
we're definitely the King of the Hill. We got a website up. You can check you could go to fifthtrooper.com. I got a banner up on the front page, or you could go to Facebook. There's a link there, so you can see what's happening. I have the two lists next, the two commanders and who piloted them. The link to the list underneath it, and then to the left is the video of the match. So you can go and kind of go, and then pretty soon here, what we're going to try to do is have lists ahead of time. So like right now, I think I'm playing Evan. He doesn't know what he's playing yet.
something CIS because we haven't had it on the table in a while.
But once we're going to try in the future to have that out, and then do a poll of who do you think's going to win, and then we'll do a giveaway during the King of the Hill for the people that filled out the poll.
Yeah, my goal was to do a CIS list with Cad Bane because I haven't seen him play in a while, and
That's a good idea.
the more I started painting him, and I'm like, I was looking at his card and this cards, and I'm like, oh God, why am I not just playing Secret Mission? Like, this, I'm like, how much work do I have to do to kill something with this guy? It's like, I was complaining about Boba Fett. And then like Cad's like slightly better with like oh jeez.
But I mean, even if you're not a huge Legion fan, but you just want to come hang out with us on Tuesday nights, one of us is always either running the chat and like typing in there, or we'll answer it on the audio. So yeah, if you just want to pop in and just talk to us and ask us about anything, well, it doesn't have to be about Legion.
We were like, I'm like, okay, what IP would you put over Legion rules instead of Star Wars?
That was great. Yeah, that's great.
Like some of the best ones were like Halo. I think that'd be pretty. I mean, because you have little squads of Marines or elites or like grunts, right? And then that'd be cool. Or you came up with John Wick, but in the vein of like the gangs, not just Wick versus like 100 models.
Yeah, no, it would be like I was just thinking because you have like the Continental, you have because the third movie there they started to like spread out the lore, and so like. Who are the guys did you watch the third one?
I haven't yet, no.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
I don't want to spoil it for everybody.
It's John,
but they had a lot of minions, like and then it seemed like the different factions had their own armies too. So I was like, well, hell, that like you could have a Continental faction that like certain guys are the commanders and operatives, and then maybe like John Wick and those types could like they could switch factions and be like an operative or commander or whatever in each one.
But it'd just be cool, right? Like Hasbro is part of Disney, or Disney owns. Well, they do. Hasbro does Disney toys.
Yeah, but I don't think because Hasbro has their own line of Transformers, GI Joe. None of that's part of. I think you're thinking of Kenner.
No, it's because Hasbro's got the Razor Crest coming out, that collector's edition.
Oh, maybe it's just a toy deal.
It might be, because I'm like, man, it'd be great if you get like, I would take a one-off box of just like GI Joe versus Cobra, but Legion. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, like that'd be super cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. What was the other one that was really? Lord of the Rings. That was a good one. Like anything fantasy would be great in the Legion system.
Yeah, it's like anything. I think you said Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers
would be cool, because then you could mix that with aliens and Predator, so you could have the two different kinds of Marines, and then like the two different kinds of aliens and predators.
It's interesting, right? Because you need something. John Wick was a stretch. I just thought I was just thinking off the top of my head.
There's nothing like that for a gang warfare game at this scale,
right?
Like there's like Necromunda and things like that, but they're like 10 models, not.
Like it doesn't have to have a ton of factions. Maybe it just has 2 factions, and you just
Yeah, there's like
what I think Legion needs to do in general, and we kind of touched on this, but like is. And what would make these other games better is if they did this, is they need to drop the requirements of like, or fix the unit type requirements, because I think you should be able to have just all heroes. Like, I don't think it's a good idea, but I think you should be allowed to have all heroes.
Yeah, I think they do it in Legion because it's supposed to be a troops game. Like a boots on the ground troops game, so like you have to take 3. Like that's the game is the troops, right? But maybe there's always that hope that a lot of games do theme builds. Like look at Wild West, right? Like you can build this certain way with these certain rules, and you get a bonus. So maybe we'll see that with Legion. Hey, if you do this and you play every rebel hero, you only have to take X thing.
Like I tried to do that.
So your command hand sucks.
during pandemic, I played it, or was it after or before? It might have been during or right before pandemic, going into Worlds. I was playing Bushman on TTS on Legion, and I played Han and Leia, Operative Luke, R2D2, C3PO.
Ugh.
Like all four of them,
so
and then
heavy.
I think I had 3 cores with DLTs
Yeah.
and like maybe 3 snipers or something like
Yeah,
that. And it actually did way better. He played I think he played a clones tank list. It did way better than I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna
Your
do.
command hand's wild because you
Yeah.
have so many different things in it, but it also gets hurt by like you got a lot of fights for what's a good 1-2.
Well,
pick,
and you
pick.
got to get your killers into position, right? And so like the whole strategy behind it was that the Leia and the core and special units just kind of lay down suppression fire so that Han and Luke can get into position to just start messing things up.
Yeah.
And then I had R2 and C3PO kind of coming up behind Han and Luke, and R2 calculating the odds to like give out tokens, and then slowly heading towards the
sure.
other person's.
Yeah. No, that's
It's interesting.
well, it's like I've been messing with a Cassian. I like the keyword teamwork, right? So Cassian, K2 have that, Han and Chewie, but I really want to play Sabine, and I ordered another Sabine actually, just so I could put the rocket pack on her from the Mandalorian, because she has jump too.
Yeah.
And I have her with gun and sword. I'm like, I want gun, sword, no helmet. I want 2 guns, helmet, and I can put the jetpack on. Just to have. I mean, it's $12.
Yep.
Like, it's not like a $30 or $40 model like a GW comparison for a hero where you're like, well, I'm only buying one, so however I'm going to make it, this is how he's going to be for $12. I'm like, yeah, I'll take 2. We'll figure it out. But I want to do Sabine and Clan Ren with Cassian and K2. Because you have your command hand's pretty righteous with like the amount of stuff you can do, and K2's I'm gonna die so this unit can't get shot on a unit that's running away with a box like a Sabine or a Clan Ren is pretty good.
Yeah, man, I've been wanting to do a master and apprentice Palpatine Vader,
It's
but it's
so
so
heavy.
expensive.
Yeah, it's
Even
not.
with OP Vader, like I just
Still
can't
like
make it happen.
400 points,
Yeah,
and you're
it's-
like, God, I hope I like.
Yeah, and it's like, and the problem is Palpatine is hit or miss, especially if you don't have enough support to
because you gotta
keep
get
him
close to
alive.
pull the strings on
Yeah.
Vader, and then if you're that close, I'm gonna kill Palpatine, and you're gonna
Right.
lose 200 points, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Meh.
All
But
right.
yeah,
You good?
yep,
Cool.
Yarp.
Well, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon, and check out all the other stuff the network's doing if you're interested, and let us know what you think.
Yep. Hang out with us again. See you Tuesday, and stay rad.
Bye, everybody.
God, the chair.
That's the squeaky chair.
Join us next week for another edition of the Fifth Trooper podcast.
This has been a Fifth Trooper production.